Hey everybody, it's Kyle. I wanted to do a quick video today because I was talking to a lady this morning who, her son is pretty young and he's just been diagnosed not too long ago, and she's really struggling with the fear outweighing her faith, and she wants to be faithful, that she can do it and it'll work out okay, but she said there's just so much fear that the fear seems to be outweighing the faith. And so I kind of wanted to share with you what I shared with her, and that's this. Fear is it's kind of a passive emotion. It's an emotion of inaction. And I'll give you an example. I mean, you've heard of frozen by fear, right? Or a deer in the headlights. They're afraid to make a move. They're afraid to do anything, and it becomes this passive emotion of just focusing on the fear. And I mentioned in a previous video that when I was a kid, my dad told me that fear, worry, and doubt cannot exist in the same mind with confidence and faith. And so I've always tried to fall back on that, but there are times when we all feel fear, and it's hard to escape that fear and have confidence and faith. And so one of the things that I told her this morning is that faith is an action word. And when she feels herself being fearful, most likely she's going to be in a state where she's not doing anything, and she just has fear, and that emotion is overwhelming, and it occupies her mind, and she's not really doing anything actively. And you know, my advice to her and to you is to let that feeling of fear, if you catch yourself in a feeling of fear, that's the first part. You have to catch yourself, right? If you're not living consciously of what you're thinking, you're probably going to be in bad shape, because you're going to run down mental paths that aren't very helpful. And we talk a lot about that in our insider videos. But if you can catch yourself thinking of thoughts that make you afraid, then let that prompt you into some sort of action. And you know, faith is an action word, and it takes faith to be actively pursuing something. For instance, you know, as we talked, she mentioned that you know, she's trying to discipline her child and put him in timeout, and you know all the things that go along with that. Our kids don't do that very well, and she's working through that. And I said, well, maybe that's a good thing to do when you have some fear. When you're sitting alone and your mind goes to that fear place, maybe sit down and just write out how you'd like to be, how you'd like to act, what steps you'd like to take when you do need to discipline him and put him in timeout. And if he walks away, what steps are you going to take there? Write them down. How are you going to talk to him? What kind of things are you going to say? What kind of tone will you have? Because tone is really important. I mean, these kids of ours don't like to be told what to do. I guess no kids do, but especially them, because they want some sort of control. So if you say, don't do that, that's a command. And that's going to be difficult for those children to take. But if you say, hey, why are you doing that? Maybe we can do something else. There's a completely different approach, completely different tone. I once had a family tell me that they could see when their daughter was starting to ramp up, she would bite her lip like this. And they would say, hey, don't you bite your lip. And occasionally it would work. In most cases it didn't help. And my suggestion to them was don't say, don't you bite your lip. That's a command. It needs to be a request. And when they see her biting her lip, instead maybe say something like, hey, is everything okay? Is there anything I can do to help? It seems like you might be getting frustrated. Tell me what's going on. And what that does is it opens up dialogue. It allows them to be in control of that emotion, and maybe they can change that emotion that way. So fear and faith, I know it's a tricky subject. When we're afraid, it's tough to have faith. But if we will catch ourselves in those fearful moments and take some sort of action, even if it's, like I said, writing down a list of things we can do, writing down things that we know have helped in the past, and documenting those and how we did them and what the results were, just do something, right? And I think that's what faith is. Faith is really acting on those promptings that you have, acting on something that allows you to feel better or to give you confidence that you'll know what to do. So hopefully that's helpful this morning. It was a great conversation. If you want to have a conversation with me, click on the link below. You can watch some videos, download a guide. Love to talk to you about your situation, and maybe we can get you a breakthrough too, kind of like we did this morning. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.